Hi, this is Rod Gels from We Love Guitar Nerds, and welcome. How to buy your first guitar. This was my first guitar. We call it the Boss. My parents bought this guitar. It said there's a sticker on the back that says 1179 Eagle number 10. So this was the guitar that my first year of guitar playing, 1979, 1980, probably till the Christmas of 1980. This is the thing that I played. Now, what my parents did was weird because what was told to them is start them off on acoustic. We're going to discuss all these things today about what the good stuff, what the good information is about buying your first guitar. So with that said, let's get started. Acoustic or electric? Do we do acoustic or electric? It does not matter. Whatever is what I refer to, whatever is your vibe. This should be a reflection of you and your tastes and what excites you about music. So if you're excited about electric, you should not get an acoustic guitar. Okay? We can get affordable electrics, we can get affordable acoustics, we can keep the price down on both of them, but get something you're going to be enthusiastic about. That's one of the things I think my parents didn't really understand because nobody was there to tell them that kind of information, that I want to learn to play Kiss. This was not Kiss. So I had to go through a whole bunch of years that I had to do, and I had to earn my way to an electric guitar, which was like 4 years, which was unnecessary. We know better now. Whatever you start with is what is your vibe, okay? With that said, if you're going to stick with this, you're probably going to get both eventually anyway. You're not going to want to play one kind of music all the time. You're not going to want to create one sound or have one like stroke of the brush. You're going to want to be able to play a bunch of different sounds. So, okay, so as far as acoustic guitars or electric guitars, just go what you want. All right. All right, as far as electric guitars go, there are some things we want to be looking at. Okay, first of all, when I look at a guitar, one of the first things that I suggest doing is go like this to the guitar. Make sure there are no sharp edges on that. Look at the nut of the guitar. Make sure that the nut does not look busted. Now, you don't have to go on your first guitar. You don't have to buy new. Nobody says you had to buy new. And in fact, I would suggest going used. It keeps the cost down. If we're worried about cost, used is a good way to go. But with that said, these are some of the things that you're going to encounter with a used guitar. It's not like guitar technology is advanced so much since 2009 that the guitars are so much different now. They're not. The guitar is a lot of the same as it has been forever. So go like this. Make sure that there's no sharp edges. The nut works. Okay, the nut is there. Okay, so now the other thing that I will often do before I even put my hands on the fingerboard, because I'm assuming you don't know how to play the guitar, is I'll just play. These they're called open strings. It doesn't take any skill to do it. Okay, so if there's no buzzing that is going on, that's great. That's great. Now the other thing that we want to be looking at, this is a personal preference. What kind of guitar do we want? It does not matter. I personally would not. I don't suggest getting a real expensive guitar if you're just starting out. A $2,000 guitar is not going to get you to play anymore, practice anymore. It's not going to offer you things that the $200 dollar guitar won't for the beginner level. Okay, but the one thing that I suggest, and this is up for debate, some people think Stratocaster, some people think Telecaster. I think something that has a humbucking pickup. These are called humbucking pickups, because this is kind of like the rock guitar sound. I'm assuming that you'd want to make some rock guitar sounds. Okay, so if you want to make rock guitar sounds, blues guitars, that is from the humbucking pickup. All right, So that is the number one thing that I would do. I wouldn't do all single coils. This is called a single coil pickup. Fender Stratocasters have 3 of them. That is typically not the best first guitar, because a lot of my students in the past have been disappointed that their guitar does not sound like my guitar because all they have is single coil pickups. You're gonna want at least one of these. Every company has guitars that have humbucking pickups. All right. So then you play the guitar, and how does it feel on you? How does it fit? You gotta like the way it looks. Yeah, you gotta like the way it looks. But some of it is just that your vibe is your vibe, and nobody can tell you otherwise. But I will say that you don't have to spend a lot of money to find your vibe. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is, where do we purchase? What are the bonuses of purchasing? How do we get the good deals, or making this an affordable thing for you? With that said, the things that come to mind for me is you can either buy online, like Facebook Marketplace or Reverb or something like that. Okay, buy used online, or you can buy at a store. Now there's pluses and minuses of each. Now, if it's on Reverb, or if it's something you've never played before, the minus is you never played the guitar. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're not touching it. To me, that's a little weird. I know. We can get past that, and some people can get past that, and sometimes you can find really, really good bargains that way on these like Facebook Marketplace, for example. We got many guitars from Facebook Marketplace, but the next thing that we want to do from there is we want to think, okay, so the music store, our community music store. I suggest, if you're going to go the music store route, go to your community music store, because those people are lifers. When I say they're lifers, these are guys that have been around, and they have done this a long, long time, and they plan on making lasting relationships. They're not like a lot of the chain stores. They have a lot of high turnaround. So the same people aren't going to be there when you come back a lot of the times, and it's not the same vibe. It's not the same feel. So the community music store, you can go in and you can check out and try different guitars and through different amplifiers. And amplifiers are an important part of our sound as well, which we'll discuss briefly. So the community music store, we can try out all the things that we're talking about here. We can see the whammy bar. Whammy bars are cool if you're just getting started. If you want to sound like Hendrix. Okay, this is called a whammy bar. It's a must-have for a lot of people. It's what makes the electric a cool thing that acoustics can't match. In that way, acoustics do other great things too. With electric guitar, another thing we want to talk about, and this is super important, you want to get an amplifier. You want to get an amplifier probably that has both abilities to play clean and to play distorted. You don't need an expensive amplifier. Don't get an expensive amplifier. Get a bedroom amplifier. The ones that I like, and I'm not endorsed by, but I use these, and I buy them used myself, are the Line 6, the Spider series. They are affordable. They serve a function. They will get you to you need something to play along with recordings. Okay, when you're learning how to play, we learn by imitation. Can your guitar sound like the stuff that you hear on the needle when you're putting the needle down? So in other words, can it get clean? Can you get dirty? And then the Spider has good distortion sounds. It has lots of effects that you can experiment with. All this makes the guitar a lot more fun. All right, I would get away from the idea that if you're a parent that your kid is gonna quit, I would leave that like thought behind. You can invest a little bit of money, make the guitar a playable one through an amplifier that makes lots of cool sounds, lots of cool clean sounds, lots of cool distorted sounds, and things in the middle. They're going to stick with it a lot more than throwing that into who's probably going to quit anyway. I don't know that is necessarily a thought process, but we still want to keep it inexpensive. So these things, I know, like Reverb, you can check Reverb, you can check the music stores, you can check the Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if eBay is still a thing. Check that. I get these for like $70, $80. It can be very affordable to get something very fitting, okay? And if it's fun, they'll stick with it. Okay, brand names. Are brand names important? No, brand names are not important. Matter of fact, a lot of times if you're stuck with thinking there's only Fender and there's only Gibson, that's going to be more expensive. To get Fenders and Gibsons to be of a certain quality, you're going to pay more money for that. You don't need to pay that much money to get a guitar that is fitting. So with that said, what we need to do is find a guitar that suits your purpose. Many companies out there. This is an Ibanez. I've had Ibanez's for 40 years. Okay, this is one. It's a great guitar, but there's many companies out there that have affordable things. And as I said, you find them online. Look for the humbucking pickup. Do the finger test, the neck test. Okay, strum the thing. All right. Okay. Play it a little bit. If if you're just beginning, I know that's hard. Look at the nut. Make sure that there's nothing broken looking. Does the whammy bar work? This whammy bar is a little sluggish. But anyway, so these are the action. We cannot forget the action. The guitar has to be playable in order for it not to be a miserable experience. All right? Visit your local shop. Get to know them by name. Okay? Because the local ones, they're the ones that are going to remember you. They're going to know you by name, and they're the ones. As I said, you want people who are going to who you know by name. They know you by name. They're and I don't say trustworthy. Yeah, they are trustworthy. I have people that sold me guitars 30 years ago. I'm still friends with. We still send each other Christmas cards. So they're going to be the ones that are going to tell you the right advice and not just try to sell you something quick. And I'm not endorsed by anybody. I'm not saying go to this, go to that, don't go to this, don't go to that. I'm just saying the ones that stick with you and they want to see you grow and they want to see you get what you need in order to get to the next level are going to be the ones at your local music store, wherever that may be. Okay, whether they're electric or acoustics, another thing that we want to be looking at is what is referred to the action. When you look at the strings on the guitar, if they're a mile off the fingerboard, it's going to be a painful, miserable existence. We want to avoid painful and miserable existences. Okay, so the strings should be pretty close to the neck. Okay, so with that said, acoustic guitar is another route. It's a wonderful route, and it's one of the bonuses for acoustic. You don't need an amplifier. You can take this anywhere without an amplification, and you can write songs. You can sing along with it. You can do all kinds of things that brings out a different quality in your guitar playing. So with that said, acoustic guitars. This is one of the most common styles of acoustic. This is called a dreadnought. Okay, it is like the Martin Guitar Company. They were huge with this, and Gibson. Every guitar company has these. Again, check this. Okay, check. check to see if they can stay in tune. We hope that they can stay in tune. We don't really know from the first, but it's like... So anyway, this is an acoustic guitar. Bonus is that we can play it anywhere. We can write songs with it. We don't need electricity. It doesn't have to be loud. It can support our voice. When we play the acoustic, it really feels like the voice is being heard in a little different context. So that is the Dreadnought guitar. So this kind of guitar is it's really good for smaller hands. So if you have if you're a small person, if you have sons or daughters that are 8, 9 years old. But the other thing is, I like this guitar myself. It's great for adults too. It's smaller. It's smaller, but it's still really functional if you get a decent one. Again, when we're looking at this, we want to look at that the action. We want to make sure we do our little checklist of things that no ridges, no buzzes. Okay, so the bonus again for this, for any acoustic guitars, you can take it anywhere. You can take it anywhere. You can write songs. I love writing songs on acoustic guitar for whatever reason. My songs always come out differently on acoustic guitar, which is why I say if you're going to stick with the guitar eventually, no matter where you start, the other thing is going to creep in. Okay, so with that said, this is a Fender Paramount guitar. I am not endorsed by Fender. It is a nice guitar. It is nice. I like it. So one of the cool things about this kind of guitar, and many kinds of guitars you can get, is even though it's acoustic, we also have the ability to amplify this. These are electronics. We see the electronics there. And then you plug in the guitar right there. So we could play live with this. So anyway, parlor guitar, most companies make them who make acoustic guitars. And they are an option no matter what size you are, honestly. There are 3 little accessory items that every guitar player needs. First accessory item, this is called a fret capo. Now there are many different kinds of capos. You don't need, you buy a $20 one, a $15 one. This is called a shub. It is my favorite capo. Shub is my favorite capo. With that said, I think you can get a basic shub online for $15. Does not cost much, but the $10 capos aren't as good online. So the shub has an adjustable thing here where you can adjust how tight we want the it is a clamping device that we put on the acoustic and electric. So we can play open chords in any key. It is something. Okay, so that is what a capo does, and you can put that on any fret, and it'll get you to make different sounds. A lot of acoustic players use them, electric players as well. So anyway, number 2, this thing is called was electronic tuner. When I started playing music 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 43, whatever, a long time ago, 42 years ago. These things were $110. And they were the size of a brick. Now what we have is we can put them on our headstock. They are about $15 online, and it will help us keep our guitar in tune. Always play in tune. Tune your guitar every day. If you play a lot of guitar, tune multiple times a day. The in-tune guitar will inspire you. So this my particular favorite, I have probably a half dozen of these. They're called Snarks, the Snark tuner. I wish I was an endorser of Snarks. So if Snark is watching, I'm coming for you. It's a Snark tuner. Any one of those should be chromatic. The last of the essential accessories is a suitable guitar pick. We do not choose guitar picks in order of color or what kind of cartoon is on it or whatever. We choose in order of thickness. If you're just starting out, you probably want something thin to medium. This is the yellow .73 Dunlop. I like it a lot because it's not super thin, but it's not super thick, and you won't break strings, and the sound that comes off of your guitar will not sound harsh, because a really thick pick on a guitar when you're just starting out is brutal. I mean that in the nicest possible way. All right, so Dunlop Company, Tortex, .73. You can get a lot of, you can check out different picks certainly, but you're going to want to get medium gauge pick, a medium thickness, nothing real thick. All right. So for cases, what we can do, here are what the options are. This is called a hard shell case. What a hard shell case is, what it sounds like. It gives you the most protection. All right. So it is, and this is honestly, if you have an acoustic you want to keep in good condition, you should get a hard shell case. If it is a nicer acoustic. Oftentimes, like with electrics aren't as fragile. These are called gig bags. This is my G&L gig bag. G&L, George and Leo. Gig bag is more practical for the traveling guitar player. Okay, so you don't have a big coffin case that you have to carry around with you wherever you're going. Okay, now somewhere in the middle, which I do not have, is a featherweight case. Featherweights are kind of like a hard shell case, but they're made of a much lighter material, so there's more protection than this. Probably comparable to the hard shell case, but featherweight is another option. For mostly acoustic, you can get, as I said, electric gig bags are kind of the norm. So in closing, this is Rod Gels from We Love Guitar Nerds. Go functional, go affordable, be smart. When you're looking at guitars, support your local music store. Buy affordable, but keep practicing, keep playing, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember, you can do this.